What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Call Her Creator, powered by Stan. I'm your host, Caitlin Rhodes, also known as Social Marketing Queen over on Instagram. Now, today we have a really great interview with someone who I already felt like we were friends, but then we got on this interview together and I'm like, oh my God, she's my person. So she is another creator. She's got over 100,000 followers. And when I went into this conversation with her, I thought that maybe we would talk about, showing up confidently on social and talking about ChatGPT. But once we got online and we were talking, there's just so many things that she said that are so real and raw for creators. We talk about how, she was making a lot of money off of Instagram. She ends up pivoting because it wasn't making her happy. That was a big deal. And I think you guys are really going to enjoy listening and talking about that. I think something that we all do, something that I struggle with, is we see all these people on Instagram or TikTok and they just show these extravagant lifestyles, making all this money, and it makes you say to yourself like, oh, I want that too. But then what if you actually do attain that and you're like, oh, this actually doesn't make me happy. Maybe I just wanted this because people say I wanted this. So we talk about that. We get into showing up confidently on video. We both agree that it all comes down to becoming a character, which is kind of what I do as Social Marketing Queen. I'll see my friends out and they'll just be like, oh my God, you're so crazy online. Even though, I am crazy offline too, but they laugh because I'm also very awkward in situations and they say that I just show up so confidently. So we'll talk about that. We also get into some ChatGPT stuff too. I think that Liz has a really good background on ChatGPT, and she has some really cool things for us to say as far as how it will help your business to grow, how it can help you make money. So I'm really excited for this episode. I can't wait for y'all to listen. Let me know how you like it. I really do want to invite her on for a second episode. So if you enjoy this one, leave us a review. Go over to Call Her Creator on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Let us know how you liked it. Let us know if you want to listen to a part 2 series with this. And let's just get into it. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Call Her Creator. I am so excited for my guest today. Liz, I have been following you guys for a while. And you're funny and you're just really raw and authentic. And so, just so you guys know, we're talking over here and I'm like, let me just hit record because this is natural conversation between two creators who just met each other, but they already feel like they know each other because of Instagram.
Yeah, so true.
So, Liz, I'll let you take the spotlight first. I want you to introduce yourself, who you are, what you do. Let's start with that first.
Okay. Well, I'm never the best at introductions, so let me just start by my name is Liz Para, and my husband Beau and we run Shirley Social, and we definitely, we started out, we met in college, we had that little love story, and we were graphic designers, and we started a branding agency together. So that's kind of how we morphed into social media, was working with different business owners out of college and realizing that they needed avenues to advertise. Like, logos were great, branding is amazing, and I'm a sucker for a good font, but it only does you so much unless you're putting your name out there. So we help business owners show up on social media, craft Instagram strategies, and build their business from the ground up. It's kind of just what I love to do.
Okay, so I love that you met him in college because I too met my husband in
Oh,
college.
really?
Yeah, isn't that so funny? I knew who he
Seriously?
was because we're both from small towns. So I knew who he was, but I actually did not start talking to him until we were both at a football tailgate at UF and FSU. Where do you live and where'd you go to school?
So I live in Washington, but randomly I met him in Montana. We went to college in Montana, and I'm not from there. We just life both ended us up in Bozeman, Montana, super small town. But are you in California or are you on the East Coast?
I'm on the East Coast, so I'm in Florida.
Okay. That makes so
Yeah.
much sense with all your beach content. I
Yes.
live for
I'm
your
always
boating content.
Someone else has told me that before. They're like, I can tell you're a Florida girl because I see you on the boat. But yes, we just got a boat last year and we try to take it out as much as possible. Florida
Oh my
girl.
gosh, I'm so
So
envious.
yes. Well, it's okay. You have really cool scenery, whereas I don't. So Okay, let's get into our conversation. So, first off, okay, so just so you listeners listening, I have a list of questions to ask her, but again, I just feel like I know her already, so I'm just going to ask some questions that come off the top of my head too. But like, okay, I started posting on Instagram 2021 and I kind of knew all these creators that were posting, but you guys fairly new, not you're not new, but I fairly saw your account pop up maybe like a year ago. Like, and y'all grew so fast.
Yeah,
So
so
tell
we
me like what got you on the on Instagram?
Okay, great question. So we had an old account and we were
Same.
like typical, social media managers that totally neglected our own personal business account. And so for years, like for 3 years, were running clients' accounts. We had 16 clients and we were putting all of our effort into their strategies. And I'm not gonna lie, I just kind of got sick of it. Like last year, like I hit this breaking point where I was like, we need like our own insurance, like it's almost like having your own insurance plan. And as people have put more emphasis on personal branding and building out their own right like creative avenues, I was like, we really need to start pouring more time into this. So we had like 1,200 followers, and I mean, not great for 3 years of just like, hey, I'm gonna pop on for a month and then I'm gonna like be busy with client work. So we deleted it all and started over from scratch January of like 2023. And
Okay.
yeah, and that was when like we changed our strategy. We like hit the ground running, and I completely like did everything like opposite that I had done for our previous account. So like I was always like worried about bothering people or like posting too much. Like I was so worried about people unfollowing me because like if I posted, I would bother them. Like I've had so many clients say that like, oh, my followers just don't want to see my content 5 times, and it's like, well, then they're not your follower. I don't, like I don't know, like they want to see you, they want to
Yeah.
see your stuff. And so then we started posting, yeah, I mean, like a lot. I mean, I went like quantity first over quality. And then we had one reel go viral. And it was kind of like that reel took us to like 80,000 followers. Um,
Shut
yeah,
up.
it was kind of insane, Keelan, and I'm not gonna lie, like it was great, it was awesome, but we went viral for something to do with Canva. So it's awesome. Like I love Canva, I use it all the time, but I don't sell anything to do with Canva. You know what I'm saying? Like I coach my client, I can help them with Canva, but I don't specifically sell courses through Canva. And I feel like a lot of people at first were looking for that. So it was kind of like a viral hangover, is what I call it. I don't know if you're familiar with or what you call those things.
No, but I agree with you. Like, it's so cool. I know everyone wants to go viral, but at the end of the day, like sometimes I'll go viral. So like I just went viral for a dumb video that I did about like your posture sitting
Oh, I
down.
love that one.
Yeah, it's freaking funny, okay? But it got me nothing. I've gotten 0 sales from that. Just because I went viral, it did not help me. But, we're also on that side like you had a reel pop off that helped you reach 80,000 followers. That's what happened with me too back in 2021. I started posting these reels. I was an early adopter, so I was getting an influx of followers, but I do want y'all listening to know that like if you go viral for something that's not like going to like you have to understand like yes you'll get followers but are you going to get money, not necessarily. So that's why
Yeah.
I'm very strategic now. I still try to post funny stuff just because that's who I am as a person, but it's you really got to plan a little bit, right?
Yeah, you have to play the game. You have to have fun still, and I think that's oftentimes where people, they're like, oh, I posted a reel or I didn't get followers, or like, and you're like, well, you still have to like enjoy the process. You can't be like gripping the steering wheel for every single post you make, or you're gonna hate being on Instagram.
Right, I totally agree with you. And then what about once that went viral, did you lean into that topic and do more of those, or what happened?
Okay, great question. So at first we did, I don't know like what the correct marketing term is, but like a rinse and wash or whatever. I've heard this guy call it something where, so
Rinse and
we
repeat.
created, yeah, like we created basically like a one page sales funnel in Stan's store. And this is why I love Stan. I'm not just saying that because you're sponsored by them, but I love Stan Store for real. I recommend it to everyone. And so we created basically like it was like 99, maybe $5 to like do the whole tutorial because I had given people the tutorial in the reel, but because it was only a minute, right? Like reels can only be a minute and a half long or minute 30 seconds, that it was like sped up and it really pissed people off because they were like in the comments, like, I can't understand you. You sped it up on purpose. Um, and so I created like, hey, if you want the guide, the step-by-step instructions, comment or whatever, and I'll, go to my stand store and I'll send you the link. And so people paid, some people were pissed.
Yes.
They were like, you set us up for a scam. But I was like, look, you can watch the video. Like you can
Yeah.
watch it a million times. I'm giving you it, or you can pay. It's no different than like paying to upgrade, to
Yes.
get the stuff without having to do the work. So we did that and we did make like, a couple $1,000s off of it.
That's
And it
nice.
worked out really well. But then it was kind of like, everyone found out the hack, which was great. It was like it was right when bulk create came out. It was the bulk create like 30 days Canva thing. And so it like, all the other creators caught onto it, which is normal, right? Like people see what's like going viral. So a lot of other creators started doing it, which was fine. Um, and at that point though, I was like, I don't want to keep creating stuff in Canva. Like that's where I really struggle because my expertise is not in Canva. My expertise is in Instagram and business coaching, And so it honestly, Caitlin, I'm not gonna lie, it was a hard pivot for us to pull back from the Canva tutorials and stuff on Instagram, and we've lost followers because of it. But I don't care because I feel like I'm like, look, I need to start creating content that I align with. And yeah, I could keep putting content out about Canva or figure out ways to get people to pay me money about Canva. But I just don't, I want to make money off of things that actually like feel good to me. And like setting up quick little things are fun, but they're not to me like a long-term longevity scheme for our business, if that makes
Right.
sense.
No, that definitely makes sense. I do want to back it up for a second. You said, okay, so gosh, there's so many pieces to this. So the the reel was going viral. I like that you were smart and said, "Hey, let's monetize this," which is something that I think a lot of people don't know how to do. So I'll have people message me and say like, "Oh, my reel's going viral. What do I do?" So like tell me when you went to set up that landing page or whatever, you said was it a landing page or was
It
it
was just
was it
like
on
a
your
one-time stand store. So
on
like,
your
you know how
Sansa?
you like
Okay.
people click in, yeah, and then they see
Yeah.
like more of the detail. I don't know what you call that. I'm sorry.
It's like a sales page, like,
Okay.
yeah, like a sales landing page, but just so y'all know, what she's describing is, like, so easy peasy, like, better than you having to do,
Yeah.
like, this big sales funnel page.
Oh yeah.
She went and said, "Oh, we're going viral. Let's be smart about this," which is what I did too, by the way, and I'll tell y'all about that, but she went and set up her Stan store, which I love too. We love Stan, it's so easy, and then she started monetizing on that, and that was super smart. So I have a similar story. My first reel that went super viral was me talking about reels ideas, and then I had this free reels challenge. Well, once it started going viral, I'm like, I need to monetize on this.
Yes.
Exactly what you did. And I said, okay, let me go put a price stamp on this. And I ended up charging $20.
Wow.
So I made $10,000 from that reel. Yeah.
That is incredible. Holy
It was
shit.
incredible. Now the what sucked though is that I thought that would happen all the
Yeah.
time, and, it doesn't.
Right.
So, my husband's like, "Oh my god, are you gonna retire me? Like, you're making all this money," and, like, at the end of the day, like, I want y'all to remember too, like, just because something goes off, it might not always do that, so it's not gonna be that easy every time is I
Yeah.
guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So
No, that's so true.
and then, of course, like you said, all the other creators started jumping on, and then I started seeing Reels challenges and memberships and all this stuff, so I was like, it's so hard, like, you really have to differentiate yourself too, especially in our space.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, like what she's saying is if you, I guess a tip here is if you do have a reel that goes viral, you want to be smart about it. You don't always have to monetize on it, but if you want to, we both did it and it helped. I mean, it helped our pockets for a little bit, right? Um, and then that's kind of when I started leaning into to like the real like reels coach, but I also knew like you knew that Canva wasn't your end all be all, which I know reels aren't my end all be all. Like at the end of the day, I'm a social media coach. I want you to shine online everywhere, not just Instagram Reels.
I love that.
So that was hard for me to kind of pivot to, like, with what you're saying where you had to kind of scale back a little bit from just posting about Canva. Like I did too. I scaled back from just posting about Reels.
Mm.
I lost followers and my followers growth kind of slowed down, but I had to stay true to who I was. And so I think that's a big thing too when creating content.
I love that. And I remember seeing your Reels challenge, and I seriously, I had no idea you made that off of it. Like, that is a whole, like, story in itself. You could make an Instagram series of content just on how you did that.
I know I need to. I really do need to, but I also don't want to boast about that stuff either cuz then people think like, "Oh, she does that all the time." No, guys, I don't do that all the time. Like right now this summer, I'm freaking struggling right now selling some of my stuff. Like my membership signups have really slowed down. So I'm trying to find other ways to like market it and stuff like that. So talking about marketing stuff, like okay, do you still own your agency and you're still doing client?
Okay, yeah. So great question. So we are okay. So we went from having like a huge agency. We had 16 clients. We had a staff of like five, and this was like still in Montana, and I was literally miserable. Like miserable. I was like, I felt like everything that we had done to make a business together, like we were like working back to working like a 9 to 5 job and like, like managing employees and payroll. And I think that was like when I was going through your questions, which were so detailed, by the way, that you had sent me. I love them, but I was like, wow, all these are really making me think about like past experiences, and I think that's where Beau and I, because we were in a small town, because we were surrounded by a lot of these like older people in business, we had no idea how to like scale properly or how to really like take in all of this like all this income and then payroll and employee taxes and like we had insurance benefits. It was like we felt too like we needed to compete. Like all of these older people were like, if you're hiring people, you need a 401k, they need insurance, they need dental. And all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I'm paying like $15,000 in employee wages. Like this is nuts. And by the way, I'm not happy, like, and by the way, I'm being like overworked and I'm not, like I lost our passion. So we burned it all to the ground. We just kind of were like, we were like, this is what like we need a change. And that was when like a year and a half ago, like right around the time we restarted our account, we were like, looking at moving to Seattle and really like honing in on what we wanted for our family because we have two kids.
Okay,
And
I didn't know that.
yeah, you have two daughters. And so really like, being like, where do we see our life? Because I think it's really easy to go on Instagram, to go on these apps and like you chase someone else's dream unintentionally. Like
Oh my gosh.
you see what other people are doing and you're like, oh my God, I could do that. That looks like so much fun. Or like, yeah, like starting a community online or right, like becoming a social media manager or being a content creator. And you're like, I could do that. And you can, but all of a sudden you're like, wait, I don't know if this is what I really wanted, Like, does it align with me?
You
Um,
are hitting me in the heart right now. That is so true.
but it's hard because it's really hard, like where we're at in the world to not, So we started Truly Social and we still had a few of our management clients in Montana and who really were torn between, us becoming these Instagram coaches. Cause I was like, I'm stuck in this management. I feel like I'm really about a person that's like alignment. And I loved helping people on a management level, but I felt like I was in a position that was just like truly like I couldn't be the expert that I was. Like I could help so many more people if I coached them in so many more businesses instead of like being in the trenches, like every day running their accounts. Like we would be at Christmas, or birthdays, and I'd be like running people's social media accounts and posting to their stories. And I hated it. I did that for 3 years. So we restarted Surely on the idea of being coaches, and now we're kind of ending our reign. We've kind of filtered out the last of our management clients, and we're now just kind of on this like Beau and Liz like personal branding, refresh. Because I feel you on this whole like summer hitting a rut. I feel like everyone is in this like slow stage. People aren't on Instagram so much right now, so offers are being harder to sell. And then there was this huge digital like MMR thing, MRR, whatever the And I know we're like that's a whole other subject, Caitlin, but like I think that really took really discredited a lot of coaches and a lot
Oh
of
my
like
God, so
experts in
much.
the industry. And so I think that's also made it really difficult for people to sell their offers on Instagram and be trusted with what they're selling.
Oh my God, we need to have an episode on that too, by the way, in the future. And I'm not knocking anyone that does that because
Oh no, not
I know it's people who come from the point in their life where they just want something more for their family, but the word discrediting us who have been working in this field for so long and know so much, and then for them to come in and say, "Hey, I'm a digital marketing expert now because I took this, course." That was a very big hard pill for me to swallow too, and then I'm seeing all these accounts blowing up with those people and they're making like $100,000 a month and it's
but
nuts to
are
me, but
they? But are
I
they?
know. You're right. And then Lucas O'Keefe, do you follow him?
I don't, but I know it. But yeah,
Okay, I love Lucas. He posted something showing where people can actually edit how much money they make in their
I
sand
believe
store, but
it.
and I was like, "Holy crap." Like, I'm over here believing that these people are having these extravagant lives, and you're right, I'm wishing that was me, but do I really wanna even do that? No, because for you guys to pivot into coaching, I like coaching, but it takes a lot of my soul out.
Yeah.
So, I stopped offering coaching calls just because like, if I'll do a masterclass and love that, like, that lights my fire, but, like, one-on-one coaching, not for me. But the management, man, day to day, like I had to hire employees, exactly what you were saying, but so now they do the work and I just
Okay.
strategize with them. Um, but gosh, we basically have the same life, so it's just really crazy for me to be talking to someone that can relate.
Yeah, except for you are still like running your employees, and that is so badass. How many do you have?
Well, I'm trying. So we only have a team of 2 and we have 25 clients.
Oh
So
my god, that's amazing.
I know, but it's like my girls are amazing. Truly, my team is amazing because they handle a lot of clients at once. I'm also in the process of hiring someone else, but again, that's stuff that I don't want to do. I wish I could just like make my husband do it for me, but he's like, I have my own life to live. You got to stop making me do all this stuff. Um, okay, so going back to our questions, because I did put some really good questions in here that I wanted us to ask. Because you talk a lot about ChatGPT, you talk about confidence and content creation. So that's the first thing. A lot of people struggle with even showing up. So let's just imagine that I'm this new person getting into showing up online for my business. Like, how would you kind of talk me into that? Like, what are some strategies you
Oh
would give me?
goodness. Oh, I have so many strategies.
Okay.
I
Let's give me
literally
like
could
your
just
top
like
three.
okay, because I'm like I could give you a whole presentation, Caitlin, truly on content. My favorite one, and everyone's like, okay, Liz, yeah, sure, but it's like stepping into a character. Like I truly believe, like Sasha Fierce, like Beyonce was real, like she did it her whole life. And that's something I tell people, like step into a character. Like if you have to be overly like sarcastic with your videos, like sometimes I'm like, here for you always, like, and but it's like, and I'm joking to myself and I laugh because I think that I'm hilarious, like being like extra, you know what I'm saying? But
Yes.
it works. It works like knowing I'm like being extra cringy or whatever. And I think people oftentimes are like, oh, I'm cringy or whatever. My friends don't want to see me like that. It's like your content's not for your friends and it's only cringy until it's not. Right? It's only cringy until you start making $20,000 a month, and then it's not cringy anymore.
Boom.
You're like, this is how I make money. And I also have so many clients too that'll say, Liz, yeah, my husband, he doesn't want to take photos of me. He doesn't want to record reels of me. Like, I have no way to get content. And I'm like, look, it doesn't matter. I have a husband in social media that I still struggle to get him to take pictures of me. Like no one comes for you more than yourself. And we are in an age where content is literally money. Like making content is the key to money. So if you can master it, if you can be a master storyteller, master content creator, you can literally have the ticket to being on Instagram. But I understand doing that confidently is tricky. So I also like to say if you are a person that really struggles with scripts and you really want this is like my insider trick, if you're like I totally freeze up, like I freeze up when I go to like think, I will record my lines and I'll like say them and then I'll put them like I'll plug my headphones in and then I'll just repeat the lines back. And so it allows me to really like say what I'm saying without overthinking it, and then I can get more into character, or you can put your AirPods in or whatever.
Yeah.
Um,
You do a lot of talking reels too. So that's really interesting to know that like secretly you might even be struggling with your script, but that's how you're getting through it cuz you are so confident whenever I watch you.
Oh, thank you. I definitely have so many days, and that's what I tell people where I really don't want to make content, and that sounds terrible. Where I'm like, I'm not feeling it today, and I think obviously there's a line where, sure, take a break if you're not up for it, but again, it's getting through that, really treating your content as an experiment, and I think my biggest thing that I push for is like quantity first, and then quality. So really, really like getting your footing out there. Like it took so many reels before I was like, okay, this is my style. This is how I like to edit. This is what I like to include. This is my signature. Like I don't like gifts. Okay, I do. So like really honing in on being like, this is an experiment, and I'm just going to like throw out content and really like just put out as much as I can, get my footing, get my bearings. And if people don't engage with it, right, that's okay, because again, that should be like the perfect stage when you're not on the limelight's, not on you, you're not an account with 200, 300,000 followers, so it's perfect timing for you to practice riding your bike, to fall off a few times, to get back on, and really know that like we're all in our own world, not that many people are really watching you. And I think truly being like, if I had $200,000, like this is what I say to my clients, like, or they're like, I only have $1,000. No one wants to see me record content in a grocery store. Like, no one cares. Everyone cares. Seriously, we are so curious. We want to see what you're doing, like truly. And so, if you had 200,000 followers, $300,000, how would you act? You would show up for content. You would actually record content because you had to, because you had brand deals, because you had sponsorships. How would you record content if you were in public? You would set up a tripod and you would start recording content. So truly treating yourself like you are already there, bridging that gap of being like, I already have the 200,000 followers, and acting like it. How does that feel?
That is yes, that is okay, first off, I always tell people that I am a character, like, my friends are just like, "Oh, you're just so good at turning it on." I was like, I literally get into the character of social marketing queen when I show up on Instagram, and I get that same, I don't know the word for it, but where you said that people are like, "Oh, my friends don't wanna see that." That's why I created a separate account from my personal because 1, I didn't want them judging me, and I didn't want that judgment to hold me back from being my true
I love
self and posting my true potential. So I do tell people, I'm like, "If you're really worried about that, make a whole separate account because then you won't really be like, 'Oh, so and so is gonna see this,'" like and where you said quantity over quality first, so I used to be this girl that was just like, "Oh no, it needs to be quality content." But at the end of the day, like when we're starting new accounts for our brand new clients, I'm like, we need to get as much content out there because we need to see what even works.
Yeah.
Get people introduced to you. They don't even know who the heck you are. So that is some really good tips right there too, Liz, for people to just start testing and doing it and step into your character. Love all of those tips. You're so good. Love this.
You're
Um,
good. You're just the one coming up with these questions.
It's just so funny how much we have in common too. Okay, so let's just say that someone started posting on Instagram. They maybe have got like 1,200 followers. They're not, they haven't hit like 10K yet, but like they want to start making some money. So what are some steps you would tell them to start monetizing their account? What are some avenues that they could take?
Okay, I would first set up a stand store for sure. And I would start really figuring out how to craft my offers. So, like starting out with a freebie, but really saying, what is my highest ticket? Like, if I have, like right now, I don't have 10,000 followers. I don't think you need 10,000 followers to sell yourself on Instagram. I just think you need to be really believe in what you're selling and own that. And as long as you believe it and align with it, you can really sell, have good messaging. So I would say set up your stand store. I would say have your freebie be like the minimal of like really, like a little excerpt of your big main offer. So if your big main offer, is like this huge, like 3-part Instagram strategy, what is like a tiny snippet? Like don't water it down, just do like a tiny snippet. So your audience has that aha moment in your freebie. And then at the end of your freebie, right, you're saying, hey, thanks for making it to the end of my freebie. Go ahead and here's my offer. Here's $100 off to work with me. Here is, right. So you're giving them a bonus. They had an aha moment. Now they're like, okay, right. So much so of an aha moment that they want to work, that they're interested in hopping on a call with you. So give them something good enough, right? That they actually are interested in. Solve a pain point. If you need to chat GPT it. Say, what is my audience's biggest pain point? Right. And so that would be my number one thing, is to set up a freebie, have a CTA at the end, a call to action to lead into your master offer. I would also set up another separate thing on my stand store for booking either one-on-ones, a coaching program, a mastermind, whatever your high ticket offer is. I would put that in your stand store. And then I would create a content strategy. So my basic, start of run of the mill is 40-40-20. So 40% awareness, like 40% nurture content, and then 20% selling. So that's just like how I usually would say recommend like starting, because you're really in an awareness stage when you're starting out on Instagram, even with 1,000 followers. Like you just said, you're like, people don't really know you yet. And so you want to really still nurture your audience and give them content that educates you on being an expert, tells them, hey, I'm an expert in my industry. But don't be afraid to sell, right? So still have 1 to 2 posts a week that are talking about your offer, that are solving that. You're walking them through, like, hey, this is how, right? Again, this is how I'm solving your pain point. This is your dream desire, and I can get you there, and here's how. And you're creating that, you're telling that story, that case study through either a reel or carousel. And then you're using ManyChat, okay? To then say, hey, comment this, and I will send you the link to my calendar. I'll send you, right, a one-on-one chat, whatever it is, like get them to do that. Those would be my like 1, 2, 3 steps on getting yourself to monetize. But I mean, I can say hands down that we had 16 clients, and we're charging, at least $2,000 more, at the base minimum price for each client. And we only had 1,000, we had 1,200 followers. So it is 100% doable. And I am a really big person too on, you also can't have one club in your tea bag. You need multiple clubs, right? Like we can't, you were saying like, I love Instagram, but I also preach all different social media avenues, right? Like, and I think that's really powerful that you said that, Caitlin, because I think that sometimes too, people don't realize that, yeah, like I love Instagram, I'm on all day long, but I also see people in person. I also network. I also, like am on other channels. And so I think it's too something to be mindful of as well, as saying like, I have these connections on Instagram, but how can I also make connections in person? What are businesses too that I'm really passionate about? Because just as many people that have found us on Instagram, there's also been just as many handful of clients that I have personally walked into their establishment and said, here's why you're going to hire me, and it's worked. So I think it's a matter of what's comfortable for you, but also knowing like that you don't need a ton of followers to sell yourself.
Love that. Yeah, my girlfriend just started posting like some domestic violence stuff, and because she has a really good story. And she was like, how do I even get started? I'm like, just start posting your stuff. And then
Yeah.
she put all of her journaling into making a book. And I didn't know this, but you can post a book on Amazon very easily because she's already got it up there, all of her journal entries and like her faith and how it got her through all of that stuff. But she's doing exactly what you said. She is starting to post to figure out what's working. She's got her offer set up. I need to tell her about the freebie thing. Because one thing you guys need to know too is like, just because someone starts following doesn't mean they're going to buy from you right away. They kind of have to make sure that you're the real deal and that you know what you're talking about. So that is one thing I tell people too when they are making their freebies, go in pretty hard with that freebie. Like don't give them crap that they can just find on Google, but really give them valuable information that they're not going to find on Google so that they can trust you and then say, "Okay, she actually knows her stuff. Let me buy from her." So I like those steps that you've given. When it comes chat GPT, how much are you using it in your business right now?
Oh my god, every day.
Me too.
I legitimately have like the icon on my phone, like the, like quick shortcut button. And
Yeah.
I like ask chat, I mean, ChatGPT, I probably use like too much. Like I rely on it a little too much to the point where I'm like, if it went away, I would be so, I mean, I would find another AI app at this point, but I
Yeah.
would be devastated.
It would
Low key
it would
devastating.
truly suck. Yeah, I was working so both of my employees are out on vacation this week, so I'm, like, in the trenches doing content calendars, which I
Oh my
haven't done
god.
forever. Yeah, I it's not my thing anymore. I don't like doing it, but I know I have to do it because I don't have another team member. But ChatGPT is my best friend right now, helping me with those captions, helping me with those pain points. I'm like there was 2 days where it was down and I'm like, "Oh my god, like, how do people work without ChatGPT? It saves us so much time."
Do you use the 4.0?
Yeah, girl, I just
Okay, okay.
upgraded to where So at first I was like, "No, there's a free version," but then I got to the point where I was running out of prompts, so I'm like, "Let me go ahead and start paying for this." Do
It's
you
so worth
use
the $20. Yeah. It's like
Yeah,
I tell people like don't even sweat the $20 because we literally like I love we had a copywriter, bless her heart. She was great. But I mean, I legitimately I had to let her go because
yeah.
ChatGPT was just like too it was like literally we saved $1,000 a month ju-
Wow.
just by having it write our clients' blogs, writing captions, and again, bless her heart, she was amazing, and it was a business decision. But ChatGPT, I mean, really has taken the role, and that's why, like, when I get those people in the DMs that are like, "Let me do your copywriting for you," I'm like, "How are you even making money? There's AI for this. Like, there's literally so many tools that can write things for me." And obviously, I do think it's a measure of using it correctly, like knowing how to use it as a business owner, because it still can be really robotic if you don't use it correct. If you like put in
Yeah.
something really basic.
Do you have any offers right now based on ChatGPT and AI?
Oh, not currently. We are transitioning we had a ChatGPT community, and I shouldn't even use the word community. I would rather use the word club,
Okay.
because I feel like that's where it was missing. It was missing the community aspect. It was like we did weekly ChatGPT tutorials, which was great,
Ooh,
but some of them were so like complex. Like, I mean, and so it was really, like in terms of like gauging and like really making it a whole like oomph, like like creating a whole like dinner table. It was just kind of like we were bringing the same different entrees, and it was hard, to be
okay.
honest, to be like, okay, here's a beginner level chat gbt, here's a lower level chat gbt. So we are in the middle of transitioning our community to being more of like, yeah, like ChatGPT being a part of it. So it's called Tomorrow's Tea Time, and it's based around
Ooh,
like a golf business community. With the idea of like ChatGPT being one of your clubs, but in your bag, but it's not all of
okay.
your clubs, because and so I think that's where um we kind of not failed the first time, but again, like it was one of
Yeah.
those things. It was a reel that we had go viral over ChatGPT, and it was one of those things where we're like, okay, we could monetize. Again, we monetize, and we started charging $5, for people to get these tutorials, which was great. Um, but again, I think it's just a matter of being like really taking time as business owners to be like, okay, how is this working out? Is this still what it's supposed to be? Because sometimes things grow and you get busy and you're like, what is this growing into? Like, where is this going, or how can we really make it better for people? And I think that's something that, everyone's starting these communities. Every creator is trying to really like figure out how to monetize their own like clubs and groups. And so, to be honest, that was like a really long answer to a simple question.
No, no, you're good. I like that, and I can relate with you too, like, especially how you're talking about the dinner table and entrees. Like, we've got a membership, with, like, reels and content, and I think we're missing the community aspect too inside of there. Um, so I'm working on stuff like that, but I want people to know, like, this has been such a good conversation. I don't wanna hold you any longer, so we're definitely gonna have to do a part 2. But, like, I want people to know, like, how can they work with you? What do you help them with? Talk to us about contacting you.
Oh wow, you are so kind. That's so kind of you to think. But no, contacting me. So yeah, just find me on Instagram. I am changing our handle today. I'm changing it to Beau and Liz. Because
Yay!
I have to, like, surely again, I feel like I need to like close the chapter on that, with our management, and really like put that to bed. So you can obviously find me on Instagram. We do really focus on one-on-one coaching. I know you're like, I hate one-on-one coaching,
I
but
know, that's I'm like, "Go talk to Liz."
yeah, it lights me the heck up. Like digging deep into people's businesses, like peeling back layers. I fucking love it. Like, love it. And so, yeah, if you're looking for just one-on-one coaching, if you're looking for just coffee, come find me on Instagram, send me a message. I feel like the biggest thing is that people message me and be like, "Oh, you messaged me back," and it's like, "Yeah, was I not supposed to?" Like, so, really, just having those conversations, knowing that our door is always open to be there for business advice. And yeah, and stay tuned really soon for the new community with ChatGPT and all that good stuff.
I'm so excited. I'm probably gonna make my employees join because we haven't had any trainings on it, and I know there's so much that we can learn from it. So we'll hit you up on that. But you
We'll just
were
have coffee
amazing.
and chat
At
and chat
yeah.
ChatGPT.
Okay, I'm down with that, and I need to talk to you about agency life too, because gosh, just everything you're saying, I'm like, oh my gosh, she's me. So it was a really good conversation. I hope this helps our audience too, just with like getting in the groove with posting, becoming a character. We talked about Chat GPT and how that's really helped her streamline her business and cut some cost in her business too. But yeah, we'll do a part two in the future if you're up for it.
I
Because you
always
were
am, Caitlin. This was so
okay.
much fun. Seriously, thank you
Yay.
so much.
Okay, you're welcome. All right, I loved this. Thank you so much, and we will talk to you soon.
Okay, thanks, Caitlin.